Nokia is back from the dead, and unless you live under a rock, you have probably heard of the old classic devices they have brought back to life. This year they revived the famous banana phone, and last year they revived the legendary 3310, both with support for a snake, of course. And while many people dismiss these phones as toys, I think they're part of a fascinating three-step strategy to get people to start buying Nokia phones once again. I'm watching from TechAltar, you're watching a special MWC edition of my The Story Behind series, and let's talk about the revival of the Nokia brand. So yes, the banana phone from The Matrix is back, and it seems kind of pointless at first. I mean, not only is it not a proper smartphone, it is also not particularly cheap. If you are from a developing country and on a very tight budget, you would probably want to buy a cheap Android phone like the Nokia One instead that would let you use core apps like WhatsApp, for example, for nearly the same price. And indeed, after asking the stuff at the Nokia booth at MWC, they told me this phone isn't really meant for those consumers. Instead, it is intended as a second phone for people in developed markets. So let's say you go skiing and you don't want to be bothered by your work emails, for example, you take this with you. Which, to be honest, still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I can't believe that there is a big market for that either. And yet, I think this phone was a smart move. It is step 1 of 3 to get people to buy Nokia phones again. Step 1 for any new or revived brand is attention. Over the years, Nokia's brand as a maker of phones faded into obscurity. For it to pick up again, HMD, the Finnish startup behind the revival of the Nokia brand, needed people to get to know and remember that Nokia is back. And the relaunch of the 3310, Snake, and now the 8810, which, by the way, is what the banana phone is called, was an incredibly effective way to do that. My flatmate, my family members, my colleagues at work, and people all over the world have heard about the return of these products. They made headlines in mainstream newspapers the way only expensive Samsung and Apple products usually do. And they were way more memorable than the announcement of yet another Android phone. Plus, they are the perfect meme material for the internet too. Journalists love them, YouTubers love them, Reddit loves them, 9gag loves them, and the internet in general loves them because they generate clicks. I mean, here you are watching a video about them, right? HMD could have spent billions on billboard and TV ads and it wouldn't have gotten them the same amount of exposure these products got them. And the cost? Well, not too much. The cost is just developing a cheap phone that probably won't sell very well. The sales numbers here are irrelevant. These are living advertisements, and because of them, now everyone knows that Nokia is back. Step 1 was successful. Step 2 is cutting ties with history, at least the parts that Nokia doesn't want us to remember anymore. I mean, sure, many of us feel nostalgic about the Nokia brand, but many of us also remember that it, together with the Windows Phone platform, failed. While I was filming at the booth, I heard 2 people ask the sales reps about their connection to Microsoft, which brings us to the marriage of Nokia and Google. Seriously, looking at the Nokia phone booth at MWC, there were more signs of Google and Android brands than there were of Nokia itself, and even human Google assistants. On top of that, all the new phones have Android literally written on their backs. Nokia was the first brand to fully embrace the Android One platform, and they even had a Google guy presenting during their launch event. In other words, step 2 is to tell everyone that, hey, the Microsoft days are over, we're all in on Google now, with the operating system that most of you want to use anyway. Which brings us to step 3, making phones that people want. I think so far they have shown some promise, especially with giving people really good software support as well as bringing back that legendary Nokia build quality. There was a lot of talk about their collaboration with Zeiss this year, another classic combination, and I'm eagerly awaiting if they can finally start making really good cameras again as well, because last year's models were somewhat underwhelming in this department. Either way, I think they are mostly going in the right direction. By the way, if you are interested in what I think their most promising new phone is, then check out my hands-on video of the Nokia 7 Plus from MWC right here. I like it a lot. So with those steps, I think HMD had a pretty smart comeback strategy. First, you generate real, authentic interest in an incredibly cost-effective way. Second, you make it very clear that the part of the brand that many people didn't like is gone. And third, you try to make phones that people will actually want to buy. And while that last part is still not quite proven yet in my opinion, given that they've already sold 10 million smartphones in their first year of existence, which, just to give you some context, is way more than competitors like Google have sold, is a promising sign. And now I would like to hear whether you think Nokia can make a comeback and become a mainstream brand once again. I've put together a poll which you can find in the description of this video, so go there and cast your vote. While you're at it, be sure to follow me on my social media channels. I'm TechAltar on all of them, and I post a ton of cool stuff over there as well. If you want to see more videos like this one from the Story Behind series, then be sure to subscribe over here for future episodes and watch previous episodes over here, because they're all still relevant, so binge watch them. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!